Do you want to start a business and become a social work entrepreneur, but you are afraid you're going to fail? Well, by the end of this video, you're going to know how to start and grow a social work business without being a failure. Because in this video, I am going to share with you the Social Work Entrepreneur Academy's 4-phase framework that helped me when I thought that I was going to fail right out of my business endeavor, and it can help you too. So let's get into it. Hi there, and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Michelle V. Scott, and I am a social worker turned entrepreneur. I help other social workers go from being overworked and underpaid to owning their entire 24 hours as their own boss. If you're a social worker who desires to become an entrepreneur, please be sure to click the like button and subscribe to my channel. So today we are going to jump into the 4-phase framework that I created for myself when I thought that I was going to give up on this whole entrepreneurial thing. And I've used it with my clients to help them avoid failing in their business. And so let's jump right into those 4 things. So the name of this 4-phase framework is called the LPEP method. And the reason why I call it the LPEP method is because, well, it just made sense based on the acronym. And so the LPEP method is an acronym that I use for this 4-phase framework. And so the L in the LPEP method is the first phase of the framework, and that stands for learn. And so you need to learn about yourself. You need to learn some things about entrepreneurship. You need to learn things about your mindset. You need to learn about the goals that you have, like for your earnings and your business and your lifestyle, right? And so you even need to learn what is the right business for you, right? Because what I see a lot of is social workers following a path that someone else has ventured down, right? Is someone they're following someone else's journey. They see other people start their private practice, and they start their private practice or business the way that they saw that person do it, and then what they realize is, crap, this doesn't work for me, right? Maybe there's a different setup that's going to work better for them. And so they haven't really explored their own goals. They haven't explored their own mindset, right? How do you like to earn money? What is your revenue mindset? And so one of the first things that you need to do is learn, right? And so that is the first phase of the LPEP method. And so the second phase of the LPEP method stands for plan. So the P stands for plan. And the reason being, I figured this out way late. So I had been in business for 6 years before I wrote my business plan. It took me a long time to write my business plan, even though I had a mentor who was like getting in me. She was like, Michelle, write the business plan. I don't know why I was so reluctant. Business plans, when I think about them, I think about the traditional business plans that are like a book. And so I had to figure out how to write a business plan. And that's when I came across what's called a lean startup business plan. And so a lean startup business plan is just that. It is not that book like a traditional business plan. And it really just gives you 9 key areas to look at in order for you to start your business and be successful about that startup process. And so one of the things that I found after I wrote my business plan is that I had a ton of clarity, right? I knew who my ICA was. I knew who my key partners was. I knew how I was going to bring revenue into my business. I also knew what it was going to cost me to start and run that business, right? I knew the people that I would need help from, right? Because you need staff potentially. You might need an accountant, an attorney. And so really that business plan helped me figure out all the things that I needed to just get started. And so writing a business plan is definitely one of the things that you're going to want to do if you do not want to be a failure in your business. The third phase of the LPEP method stands for execute. Now, I'll tell you, the fourth phase of the LPEP method is what typically people want to do before they execute. And we'll get to that fourth phase. But before you do the fourth thing, even though people want to do the fourth thing before executing, Before you do the fourth thing, you must execute. So you must get out there, start the business, do the things to get started, and you must do it before you're ready because there's a learning curve, right? And so if you wait until you're ready to start, you're probably never going to start because typically you'll never be ready. There are things, I've been in business now for 8 years and soon to be 9. And there are just, no, no, 8 years. It'll be 8 years in February. Oh my God, I'm losing track of time. But I've been in business 8 years. And I'll tell you, there are so many times where if I waited until I was ready to really execute it, I still be waiting. I would still be waiting because there's never a perfect time, right? And so you must take the learning that you've done, the planning that you've done, and now you must execute. And so doing all of the things to get your business up and running. After you execute, that is when you're going to want to go into phase 4. So after you've got everything set up, after you've put your plan in motion and you've really launched your business and it's out there to the world and you're trying to get clients and customers and you're trying to figure this entrepreneurial thing out, you're going to want to do the fourth phase, which is perfect. And the reason why I say this often comes before execute is because it does. I talk with so many clinicians and even myself. I was notorious for this, for perfection paralysis, where I was trying to perfect everything before I got it out into the world. I was trying to make the perfect digital course and make it very pretty and do all of these things. And I'll tell you, I did that, and that course sold nothing. It sold nothing. And so I wasted a bunch of time perfecting something that I wasn't even sure was going to sell. Now, I made a whole bunch of other mistakes, and that's why I can tell you how to do this because I've made the mistakes and I've learned from them. But one of the things you're going to want to do is you want to find out what this person needs. Whatever it is you're selling, you're going to want to make sure someone needs it. And you're going to want to execute on testing that product out first. That's why you execute first and then you perfect later. Because now what I do is I get what's called a bare bones course out there. It is literally not pretty. It is not fancy. It is just an outline of a course. And I take people through it and I make sure that everything is in there that needs to be. There's times where I'll have people say, well, what about this? And I'll think, well, I didn't even think about including that. And so it really, by executing before you perfect, it gives you a chance to get your stuff out there with not a lot of upfront cost, not a lot of upfront time. And then after you get it out there and you get feedback from people, you can then go into the fourth phase where you perfect that particular product or that service over time. That's when you start to refine and you give different iterations of that product or service. But again, I find that many people want to perfect before they execute. And that is definitely a way to make your business tank. And so to avoid failure in your business, you want to learn, you want to plan, you want to execute, and you want to perfect. And this method is cyclical. It is for everything. So you use it to start your business. You use it to launch a new service. You use it to launch a new product. You use it whenever you're developing something new in your business because you have to continually go through this cycle of learning, planning, executing, perfecting, learning, planning, executing, and perfecting. And as long as you keep that cycle in your mind, you will not be a failure because you will realize that when something doesn't work, and because you've executed on that something long before you tried to perfect it, you have very little wasted time. And it definitely is better for your own mental health because when you're out there and you're learning, you're learning and then you're perfecting because you're not planning or executing. One of the things that I see is the fact that a lot of entrepreneurs, not just social workers, they learn a little bit and then they try to perfect and they miss the two in the middle. They miss the planning and the execution part of it. And so if you do it this way, you will not be a failure as an entrepreneur. Yes, there are going to be things that don't work out. Yes, there are going to be obstacles. Yes, there are going to be barriers and roadblocks. But the only way that you can fail as an entrepreneur is if you give up. And even though there are going to be times that things don't work out and you do run into barriers and obstacles, and there might be things that you fail at, right? But failing at something is definitely different than being a failure. And so we want you to go out and fail at stuff. I've had things that just didn't work, but by utilizing this method, it's definitely helped me stay the course because I understand that I continuously have to go through this phase. And now I work this phase very well, that I'm not in it, I'm not in any one part of the phase for too long, right? I get to the part where I'm learning because as I continuously do this phase of learning, planning, executing, and perfecting, it definitely makes it the learning curve for me doing that much faster, right? And so this is something that I can typically find that within 6 months, I can figure out a product that I need to deliver to people who've been requesting certain services, right? Or I know that this is a transformation that they're looking for. And so I can typically develop that product. Again, it's going to be a bare bones product. I get it out there, I execute on that. So I learn what I need to learn about the people who need the service. I learn what I need to learn about things to deliver the product or service to them. And then I plan for that, right? I lay out a plan on what that's going to look like and what I need. And I always use a lean startup business plan. So I use that whether I'm creating a new business, whether I'm creating a new service, or whether I'm creating a new product, right? And so I plan and then I execute before it's perfected. I execute when it's messy and just all over the place, right? Because that's how you figure things out. And then I perfect that process. And then after I've perfected that process for that one thing, I move on to the next thing. So I only do one thing in my business at a time. I only develop one product at a time. I only develop one service at a time. And once that particular service or product is perfected, that's when the cycle starts over again because you might be creating something new. A lot of times there's people who just have one product in their business, right? And so they go through the learn, the plan, the execute, and the perfect, and then they kind of stay in that perfect mode. They really hone that one product or one service. And there are a lot of people who are doing that and making a killing by really focusing on that one product or service because really they're delivering an optimal product or service to their ICA because they've refined it with so many iterations. So, do you suffer with perfection paralysis? Have you found yourself trying to perfect something before you execute on it? If so, let me know in the comments. And there you have it, the Social Work Entrepreneur Academy's 4-phase framework that will help you become an entrepreneur, start and grow your business without being a failure. If you found this video helpful, please be sure to click the like button, subscribe to my channel, and hit the bell icon so you are notified each time I upload a new video. And as always, if you have any questions about this video or any other video on my channel, I am hosting meet and greets to answer your burning questions. And so you can find a link to sign up for the meet and greet in the description box below. And I look forward to seeing you there. In my next video, I am going to discuss 7 reasons why you need a strategy to start your clinical private practice or digital online business. Until next time, this is your girl Michelle saying, stop waiting. The time is now. Start your private practice or business. Bye for now.